And welcome back, everyone. It's the final episode of Assassin's Creed 2, and as you can see, as Ezio, we are completely fine from being stabbed, no ill effects whatsoever.
No, dude, you act like you've never been stabbed before. You just walk away from that.
Apparently, because there's no more blood, and we just need to drink some medicine, and that's about it. And we have to assassinate Rodrigo Borgia again.
See, I thought this part of the game is what really blew my mind. When I, because I'd never played the first one,
Yeah.
had no real context of what what was going on, and I get down here and I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's really weird.
And I love how it totally goes like 80s sci-fi with the soundtrack right now.
Yeah. And Ezio, don't do that. That's the stupidest mistake you could ever make. And why you're all glowy, Rodrigo, I don't know.
You know, fight a fat old man.
Yeah, and it's like, what I don't fully understand is, why would you just say, oh, no weapons? Because you're an assassin. It's not about honor and stuff like that. You need to get rid of the guy. Instead, you're just going to punch him in the face.
I mean, you also have to remember that he's also fueled by his need for revenge. You know,
Yeah.
because that's the whole point of having these 3 games with Ezio, is that you see his growth, and you see him change and become the person that you eventually admire in Revelations. At least I think that's the whole point.
True.
What do you think you'll do when you open that door?
I don't know, but I never liked this part anyway. Like, I never liked the ending, except for the narrative ending of 2.
Yeah.
I didn't like, I don't know, I just wasn't a fan of, the gameplay aspects of it. Like,
Yeah,
that's
the
what it was.
worst part is just it's a button masher.
It really
This
is.
is a
Like, it
mash
gets...
X as many times as you can if you're on an Xbox. Basically just attack as much as you can, and that's all you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta counter, but that's about it.
And yet you dismiss the central text of your faith?
Are you so naive? I became Pope because it gave me access. It gave me power.
Power!
I believe a single goddamn word of that ridiculous book. It's all lies and superstition. Just like every other religious tract written over the past 10,000 years.
Ooh.
Is the Bible that old?
No.
How
Bible's
old
like
is the Bible?
1600 years, maybe? I think.
I think that's the...
Because that's the New Testament. That's the New Testament. The
Yeah, I
Old
was about to
Testament-
say, the Old Testament's got to be old as hell.
Yeah, the Old Testament is a basically a
Why can't he
rewrite.
ever just make
I
sure
wouldn't
that
say
he's
it's
dead?
I wouldn't say it's a rewriting, but it's a
You can't.
translation of the
It's my destiny.
the Torah,
Mine.
the Jewish text. So
Yeah.
I am.
that's why in like the Old Testament, God just like smites everything, because that's kind of how the Jews do things. And then the New Testament is like, oh, Jesus loves everyone and God loves everyone, and blah 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 blah.
But then God likes to hate on other people, though. See, that's what the Bible's
Not
really
re-
confusing. Because then you have... Because it's like... It's basically like... You have a section written by one person, then a section written by another person, and if you have a ton of different viewpoints, then it's going to get really confusing to read it as
If you
one
ac- if-
cohesive text.
If you actually read the Bible as a whole and like pay attention to what they say and read it verbatim, it makes very little sense. It contradicts itself quite a lot. It does a lot of stuff that does not make sense. Which is always fun.
That's part of the reason why I'm personally not a religious person.
Neither am
because
I.
of that.
I'm atheist, so
Yeah.
Eduardo's
So-
agnostic.
Yeah.
So yeah, now you know more about us. Woohoo! But yeah, it's like now that
And then it gets awesome.
The walls are all shiny and stuff. It's really cool.
Then I had a real like 2001: A Space Odyssey vibe going in here, and I was like, "There should
can't
totally
let
be
you-
a monolith."
I can't let you do that, Dave.
Greetings, Prophet. It is good you have come. Let us see it, to give thanks.
And he pulls out his nuts.
He
He just whips it out.
His wang. It's like, we'll give thanks. Okay. Oh yeah, and this is always weird.
Speak.
This gave me chills. Like, it looked at... I was like,
What are you?
who are you...
Looking at.
Yeah, right?
It was Minerva. Before that, Merva and Mera. And
On and on.
the others too.
Oh, and their names are very similar to.
Who was before?
Because it's basically trying to poke at the fact that, yeah, these, gods, they were real beings.
Yeah.
We didn't just make them up. Yeah. Way to be heavy-handed about it, Ezio.
Yeah.
Gods. We simply came before. Even when we walked the world, your kind struggled to understand our existence. We were more advanced in time.
So here's my question.
Your minds
Yes.
were not yet
Is she speaking Italian or is she speaking English right now?
That's the question. I don't know.
No matter. You may not comprehend us, but you will comprehend our warning. You must.
We will comprehend the
None of
warning.
what you are saying makes sense.
Our words are not meant for you.
What are you talking about? There's no
Yeah, this part's really weird.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like- it's
and it
like-
gets awesome. And this is what had me so intrigued with the modern-day story. And I thought it totally should have went like a super sci-fi route.
Yeah.
But it never does and never goes anywhere. And it pisses me off.
You
Yeah.
conquer him, but please be silent, that we may commune.
Which makes me wonder when I play this, is it only does this only happen
When we were still
because of
flesh,
Desmond being connected,
Mhm.
or
Yeah, because the whole point is to talk to Desmond.
who made you
Because then at the end of Revelations, you find out that he's not really that, you play as Ezio because he's a cipher. He is just the vessel that they make you use
failed to notice.
to see these things.
yeah, but it's like with that, it's
World burned until
you wonder how it
remained
works with the whole we're using just a genetic memory thing and not
We built
a time
in our own image.
machine, so called, and stuff like that. You know,
And
like how is she talking to Desmond in if this is supposed to be just a memory?
your kind and
But that's the whole thing about it, is that they are that powerful that they knew these events were going to transpire.
Okay.
So they acted as if these events were happening at that moment, whether or not they were when Ezio was alive.
but now
Okay.
So
But it's just weird that she knew knew Desmond.
this is
You
this
know
is the
what I
same
mean?
problem that you have with a lot of sci-fi type stories.
Yeah.
Is that it gets to a point where it's
You just try
almost-
to think it has holes in
yeah.
it.
You kind of have to take everything once it reaches something like this. You kind of have to take it as almost spiritual, and you can't look too far into it, else you start ruining the illusion of it all.
built by those
It's the same problem I had with a lot of people with the Mass Effect 3 ending.
Yeah.
They took it almost a little too much at face value.
Yeah.
You kind of have to take it more metaphorical and more spiritual, and then, I mean, it doesn't. If you didn't like the ending to begin with, you're not gonna like it. Period. So I'm not defending it being a good ending,
Right.
but
many will stand
you do then see it a different way if you then take it less at a face value, more as a sort of a metaphorical or spiritual type presence that happens there.
gone now.
Yeah.
So, and
Well-
same thing with this is that it's less of it's literally happening right now.
Yeah, that's true. I bet it's like what?
Who is Desmond?
Who?
I don't understand. Please wait. I have so many questions.
How did I survive being stabbed twice?
That's why.
Because of Desmond.
And it's just like, whoa.
So yeah, that's
Fuck.
yeah. Thank you, Desmond. That's just what we needed. But yeah, that's the end of Assassin's Creed 2, pretty much.
Which,
Although it's not really the end, it's still loading stuff because there's more stuff. But look at all the French people.
well,
Made from-
Canadian.
French Canadia.
But anyway, so that's the end of the game.
Duma.
And,
Duma Windush.
so now let's talk about how we felt about
final
the game.
thoughts, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
even though there's like
How to,
12 minutes of credits.
yeah, there's so much. But the great thing about the credits is it's not just credits. It's actually you get to fight stuff and you get to actually interact with stuff, which is a
Yeah.
good way to have credits.
No, of course, it's great.
You and I'll deal with
So I guess let's do our first thing. Presentation. How do you feel about it?
Presentation, I thought it was a good presentation. I never thought it was this game needed to be more than what it is,
Okay.
which is why that when people bitch about Brotherhood being almost like it could have been like an expansion, I'm like, no, they totally needed to be its own game.
Yeah.
Because then it would have made this one feel almost bloated then with having
Yeah, it would've been way
that
too
entire end section, which I don't know if it was originally an expansion or whatnot.
I honestly thought it was at first, but I think if it was an expansion, it would become it would become too big of a game.
Yeah.
Especially because you go and you fight Rodrigo Borgia, and that's like the final climax. And then after that, it's like you have this stuff where it's like aftermath. But in Brotherhood, it's like you're in Rome the entire game. So it's like if you did that would take so long. I mean,
I still have the same. The main problem I found with Assassin's Creed 2 is that is something that isn't evident in this game. It's evident when you play the others in the series.
later
Because-
ones in the series?
Huh?
Later ones in the
Yeah.
series? Yeah. Okay.
Because it has to deal with the modern day portion of it, and I said it before. It's that it tries to be this really big sci-fi story, and then it goes nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere, and I understand it's not their focus,
Yeah.
but still.
Oh, he just
I
got
thought it-
bloody
I thought it
diarrhea
could
from
have
being
been-
stabbed.
Yeah, I thought it could have been absolutely the most interesting game story out there if they took it in the right direction, because they could have made it this really big, almost like Blade Runner type story where then it questions the very existence of humanity and everything.
Yeah.
And it could have been like this really cool, metaphorical, allegorical look at the gods and technology and memory and how everything plays together. Yet they didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Literally, it goes nowhere. If you play the 3 games with Ezio, you know that at the end of it, it just kind of leads to a very, very unclimactic place. And then
it's not very good.
Yeah, and it honestly it soils itself is what it is. So
Unfortunately.
yeah, and at least that's the way I feel about it. Ezio's part of the story I thought was great. If they ever were to re-release 2 in some sort of HD re-release, please make models so it looks like they get older. Because that's just ridiculous. It's a 22-year journey, and
He doesn't look a day over 20.
yeah, exactly. So, gameplay-wise, I thought it handled very fluidly.
It does.
I
Brotherhood
always have the
Revel.
problem if I run up to a wall that he'll randomly want to run up it sometimes.
Yeah, like the one guy I ran into that I ran up in midair because they had a box in his hands or something.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is very annoying because these types of games, and I believe, what is it? Extra Credits. When they first started, they did an episode on the Uncanny Valley, and that is definitely something that they reference, not specifically, but they mentioned something like Assassin's Creed, where if you get stuck on a ledge, it's like, oh, I'd never get caught on that, or whatever. It's not believable because these types of games are very centric upon you being immersed into the experience, you believing that you are there, kind of thing. Unlike if something like that were to happen in a Mario game, for example, it's a cartoony Mario game. You wouldn't expect it to behave like a real world.
No, you're absolutely right.
So with stuff like that, like us running up in midair or whatever, or how we land and just grab a ledge after falling for 3 seconds, and we're going super fast and we're almost at the ground and we don't get any damage just because we grabbed a ledge. It breaks the realism for me.
No,
with
it
those
totally
moments.
does. It totally does. And I have to completely agree with that when it comes down to the uncanny valley that they were referring to, that you are more forgiving if Mario decides he wants to not jump right than if Ezio does.
Right. And with since we were at the top, the current focus is gameplay. It's like with that really destroys the gameplay for me sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And what's worse is sometimes when it's like, oh, I shouldn't be caught right now, but you get caught, or when I fell in front of that guard when I was about to intercept the package or whatever, it's like I landed in front of him, he didn't react. So it's like, yeah, okay. Or the guard when we were assassinating the Doge. Basically, it's like I'm standing in that group. The guard should have dispersed the group, but he didn't because he couldn't interact with me or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's small things here and there that really break the game, and the texture popping and stuff like that, which
I think is because that never happened on Xbox. That never happened to me on Xbox.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think it's more of just at the time it was just a little bug.
Yeah, I don't remember it ever happening before in Assassin's Creed 2. So
yeah, I mean that seems more like it was just the problem at the moment. So, but yeah, I mean other than those like the texture popping, a couple gameplay issues like you couldn't control them quite right. I think the game is completely solid. I think it holds up, not graphically, but I think it holds up today.
Yeah, it's a very good story. It's very interesting. Apparently, the game uses Flash. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's just the power of the movies. I think that's what it is, which makes I don't know.
Maybe.
But whatever. Or maybe it's the menu. Maybe that's how they designed the menu.
Maybe I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we really like the game and the music.
Music's fantastic.
Music was really good. I actually bought the soundtrack on Amazon.
And the music, I said movie. Music is absolutely fantastic.
Either one is very good, apparently.
Well,
but yeah,
Embers is alright.
Well,
I don't know. Lineage I thought was pretty good because then it showed the lead up to 2. Lineage was pretty cool. Embers, which is the tail end of that after Revelations, I thought was a little.
Well, either way.
I don't know. It was a little unnecessary, and it kind of just like is.
Yeah. One of my other issues with this game is, other than the weird gameplay elements that broke, there were numerous glitches that I encountered. Like, obviously running up in the air is a glitch technically. Texture popping is another. But some major ones, like when I was doing the assassination of the guy on top of the really tall tower, where you have to like assassinate all the not the lieutenants, not the second half of the game, but earlier on, where the guy is like spouting a bunch of stuff and we have to climb the tower and assassinate him, and I jumped off and grabbed the ledge while falling. I did that mission twice. Like I said in that episode, I did the mission twice, and the first 2 times, the guy never spawned. He never spawned at any point during that, and I had to completely close down the game and restart it and restart recording in order to capture that.
Yeah. And
it was really annoying to do that because I was looking it up online. It's like, why is this happening? It doesn't make sense. I restarted the mission, which I figured would fix it, but it doesn't. It was a game breaking kind of thing. Because if you don't know about it,
it's Ubisoft. What do you expect?
I know. Yeah. Well, but then there's also things like when I was fighting a bunch of guys after I saved some mercenaries. They're just standing around doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but also to be fair, that happens in any game,
I know, but it happened a lot in this one. Like, the AI was very poor in this one.
Well, to be fair, I never felt the game overall is not a hard game, so I wouldn't expect the AI to be that difficult either. So there's, I don't know, I feel it's very loose is what it is.
I suppose.
So.
What things would you change other than like the models and detail and stuff like that?
I'd make money way more important.
That is something that I would agree with.
Because after you're done upgrading
everything,
yeah, then
money has no use for you.
Exactly. I think what would be cool is if aside from the Altair armor and weapons, because I know the armor degrades, but I think it would be cool if the weapons did too.
Yeah, like they become blunt or something.
Yeah, like that. Exactly. Like you have to go either you can get them sharpened only a certain number of times, or you have to actually buy a whole new sword. I think that would be cool, and that if there were weapon upgrades too, that if you wanted to, you can then create a custom sword where it had certain properties attributed to it. Like it was poisoned, or it was double edged or something, so it made certain types of assassinations possible.
Yeah, or it would be nice if there were other when we're assassinating people, we always jump into or we stab them and it does the whole collapse and talk thing. It would be nice if we could just do it from a distance or something, and you'd be able to kind of just watch and let things unfold, and basically like Hitman or something like that. Like you're at a distance, a bow and arrow. I know you got the gun in Venice, but a crossbow, like a mini crossbow or something.
Well, no, but that's a weapon you can purchase in this game, if I remember.
No, that's 2. And Brotherhood, rather.
No, is it Brotherhood?
It is Brotherhood.
I swear that it was in this one.
Unfortunately, it's Brotherhood.
But anyway, but yeah, I mean, like, and I mean, my whole thing with the weapon system in particular is because you get so many different weapons, but I found myself never wanting to try anything else besides the hidden blades, really, or the sword. Like, none of the maces I tried, none of the hammers.
I never really
Nothing
tried
else.
anything but the hidden blades and the daggers, like the Naj
Yeah.
Kinsenda, whatever, however it's pronounced.
Yeah, like I feel like it would be a lot cooler if there was more emphasis put on the different weapons. Like, you know, there were only certain types of assassinations you could do with this weapon or that weapon. There were enemies that went down easier if you had this weapon or that weapon. Because honestly, I've tried one time using the hammers, and honestly, all it does is make you slower.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still take down your enemies, but it doesn't really change anything.
Not really. And this is from 2009, so this is a 5-year-old game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we can't really expect much, but at the same time...
It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I like the game.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the game. It's... Oh, and that as is has like 3 double quotes in front of it for no reason.
Well, because there are 3 quotes within that.
Oh, were there?
Yeah, because I looked quickly, and after that there was like at the end of one line there was quotations, then at the next line there was another end of quotations.
Oh, okay.
There was another end of quotations.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
whoops! It was like 3
we're in
quotations
violation
long.
of federal copyright law, but we're not
Oh.
duplicating. We're expressing. We're free speech and fair trade, fair use, whatever.
Exactly. So now you go back into the Animus.
Yeah, pretty much, and then you just keep doing stuff. But yeah, the money's one thing I would definitely agree with changing.
Yeah, and with the money and also the weapon system specifically.
Yeah, that would be nice. I forget what I was gonna say, but it must not have been all that important. I
guess
like the
not.
game. I played it.
It's Ezio's room that we never show you before.
Yep. So, that's it for this episode or for this game. We'll see you guys in the next one with whatever we're doing. I forget. Uncharted, I think, or Batman, actually. So, see ya.
Bye. I'm Batman.